Hi everyone, welcome to the first video of r/engineering resumes resume critique. My name is Emily. I've been hanging out on the sub and doing a lot of resume critique, so I thought it would be helpful if maybe I did a video showing how I go through and edit resumes. So here, let's go. So this is an example resume I got from one of the subscribers to our sub, and let's just dive right in. So what I usually do is I do a first pass, just generic kind of read, and then I do a formatting edit, and then I do a content edit. And the content edit obviously is the one that takes the most time, but let's just go for it. So right off the bat, I see that this user has a summary of qualifications. Now, I personally don't think that you need a summary of qualifications if you only have one page of a resume. And most people on this subreddit should only have a one-page resume. If you're a fresh grad, if you have less than 5 years experience, you really should only be using one page. And all of this stuff in the summary of qualifications should be shown in the bullet points anyways. I'm a very big proponent of show me, don't tell me. So if they say, oh, I have excellent communication skills, don't tell me you have excellent communication skills. Show me an example of how you used your amazing communication skills in, a project or whatever, in your experience, or and show like what the awesome results were. Don't just say, hey, I have great communication skills, but you're gonna have to take my word for it. So that's kind of why I'm not a big fan of the objectives or summary of qualifications, or anything like that, because it all should be found in your resume. And if your resume's short anyways, then it's just redundant, and it takes up a lot of space actually that could be used for talking about more detail about your bullet points, basically. So that's the first thing I see. The second thing I see is I noticed that there are a lot of subheadings, but I think once we go through the content edit, we can kind of tease out why and maybe how we could get that to work better. So let's do the format edit first. So starting off the top with education, School of Engineering is a little messy. It seems like the kerning got kind of messed up. So I'm just going to write kerning real quick. Let's go experience. We got, the bold, the italic, and then the dates on the right. It's pretty easy to read. The bullet points are all nicely lined up. Looking at leadership, that looks fine. Skills, I like to actually move up, because if a employer says, oh, we use SolidWorks at our company, we want to see somebody, we want a candidate that has experience with SolidWorks, then you look at skills and bam, done. SolidWorks is number 2. So if it's higher up, they're more likely to see it first, right off the bat. And that's going to be kind of a common thread in my resume critique, is that the higher something is in your resume, the more likely that it'll actually be read and seen. So yeah, I suggest the skills should move up, and definitely take out Microsoft Office. Pretty controversial for whatever reason, but if you graduate from college, you have to be able to know how to use Word and Excel. It's just a given. So I think adding Microsoft Office is just filler, and it's kind of useless. Some people would say that they want it to catch the Microsoft Office in if there's like a filter on my resume. And honestly, if a company is not hiring you because you don't have Microsoft Office, I don't know, the company's kind of got some, that's not a very professional way to do things. So, no, I don't know. That's my feeling on that. Continuing down with projects, these guys here are hyphens, and the other ones up here, like this one, is much longer on the May 2019 to 2020. You can see that there one's like the slightly longer one. Keep it consistent. Just little tiny details. I have a pretty ridiculous eye for detail, so I'm gonna catch that. Most people probably aren't. Okay, so that's kind of like the general formatting. Their formatting's pretty good. So it's pretty easy to read. I'm happy with it. Let's do content. Content's going to be, obviously the most time consuming part. So let's just dig into it. Starting with experience. So designed and constructed an apparatus to study interfacial flow. Okay, so they say what they did. They designed and constructed the apparatus. They say why they did it, to study the flow in the system and examine how non-Newtonian fluids affect symmetry breaking. But they don't say how they did it, how they designed and constructed this apparatus. Did they use any tools? Did they use any, software? Did they use any, ASME 14.5 or, any standards? And they also don't say any results. So I'm going to say how, ? And results, ? They don't tell me that, hey, this apparatus actually proved that non-Newtonian fluids don't affect symmetry breaking from asymmetric flow to 3D flow at all. Like, what was the point? Like, what did this research show you? And how are your efforts directly involved in leading to these results? And if you look at the second bullet point, it's kind of the same. Designed and manufactured this KEV to investigate on-gas transport. And I'm kind of confused by this on. If it should be on gas, like on hyphen gas, or if on is just like a weird extra word by accident. And this seems like a really cool thing, like space-based bioreactor. That seems cool. But again, they just say design and manufacture. They don't say how they did it. They don't say what their efforts showed about, the on-gas transport. So I really want more details here too. So how and results again. Now, the second bullet point, or the second item, this teaching assistant position, teaching assistants, fine to list on your resume, especially if you need some more substance, if you don't have like a bunch of projects or anything. But it really needs to go towards the bottom. Really should go towards the bottom, because this person listed, I don't know if you can, you can see, they listed their positions here chronologically. They should really be listing their positions by relevancy. The employer is going to most likely look at the first position listed. and then the middle position will be a little bit less likely, and then the third position will be even less likely. So as you move down the page, you're less and less likely to be read by the employer, which was terrible passive voice. But basically, you want to just wow them at the beginning. If they decide to only read the first position, and even only the first bullet point, as you work down the bullet points, they're less and less likely to read it. So you want to list your most awesome, most relevant bullet points first, and then slowly get like maybe less and less relevant, maybe with more sort of like project management and leadership role stuff, like communication and that kind of like squishy stuff towards the bottom, with like really hard, hands-on, I did this and this and this and led to that. Those strong bullet points should be at the top. So that's why I'm saying, let's move this teaching assistant stuff down, because I think this manufacturing engineering co-op is much stronger. But let's take a look at this co-op. So design a prototyped a new cleaning system that removes embedded metal chips from trays to reduce scrap. Again, they tell us what they did. They designed and prototyped this cleaning system. Tell why, to remove these chips from and reduce scrap. But they don't tell us how they did it. How? Did you use any tools? Did you use SolidWorks? Did you use I don't know. What did you use to make this? Did you do any testing? Did you did it work at the end? Like, what were the results? Did this project reduce the metal chips by 50% and save the company $1 billion? I don't know. Let me know. Tell me if it worked. You tell me you did it, but like, you could do something, it can be terrible and not work at all, and then you learn something from it. But tell me if it worked or not. All right. Bullet point number 2, worked cross-functionally with internal customers to specify and design and install the system. I'm guessing they mean the cleaning system on manufacturing equipment. So this is a lot of words to say that they talked with customers. And this is kind of a weak bullet point, and I think it should be towards the bottom of this particular section, just because it's cross-functionally, I think is kind of bull. But really it's just saying, oh, I talked to customers and made sure they installed it. But like, I don't really know what they did. Like, talking to someone can be, can mean so many different things. And I don't know if they're trying to insinuate that they installed these cleaning systems themselves on the manufacturing equipment, or if they, I don't know, had the customers install the cleaning systems. I don't know. Basically, it's wishy-washy, and I think that it should go definitely down lower. Let's move on to the next one. Developed an understanding of GD&T terminologies and readily used them when inspecting and testing parts. Developed an understanding is also pretty weak, because I need examples, basically, of how you did this. Don't tell me you learned this. Don't tell me, oh, I learned, Spanish. It's like, how well did you learn Spanish? Did you use Spanish, on a trip? You got to give me examples. And it would be a lot stronger if they led with the, oh, I inspected and tested the parts using, GD&T. And that kind of makes the bullet point a lot stronger, because then you're focusing on the inspecting and testing, which are, tangible things that you can do, rather than developing an understanding is kind of, wishy-washy, more squishy, squishy-washy. Okay, moving on. Enhance the safety, ergonomics, and productivity of existing plant equipment using lean manufacturing principles. Okay, enhance the safety. What does this tell me? I have no idea what this tells me. This doesn't tell me much. Because you tell me you enhanced the safety. How? What did you do? Ergonomics, like, was there, like, one of the people on the, assembly line had a bad back and you, like, gave them a chair? Like, what did you physically do? And was there any results? Did, the manufacturing process speed up? Are you guys more efficient now? Did the plant become more productive? And by how much? And so what were your actions and what were those direct results of your actions? So I'm going to write, what did you do here? And then also results. Okay, updated various documents. I don't like that. Various documents is very generic. I'm just going to say updated process flow, process schema, and control plan, and wrote numerous work instructions. Numerous work instructions. I don't like numerous. Tell me how many. And work instructions, like, that's super generic. Work instructions, question mark. Why did you, write them from scratch? Did you, fix them? Were they bad? Why did you write these work instructions? And did you use any tools? Again, how did you do it? And did it make things better? Did it improve anything? What were your results? Okay, moving on, leadership. So this leadership section is basically, this person is a president of a club, I'm guessing at their university. And in general, I would move this down as well, because this isn't what this person's going to want to do for a living and try to get hired. They don't want to, maybe eventually they want to do a management sort of role, but usually when engineers try to get hired, they start at that, base engineering 1 level, and the stuff they're going to be doing is more of designing, doing analysis and that kind of stuff. And while it's good to show that you have leadership experience, it's not what you want to be doing right away, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So that's not as relevant perhaps as maybe these projects down lower. So I would actually say move this down a little bit, lower. Sort of with the teaching assistant position, perhaps. Perhaps there's some way that the teaching assistant and the leadership position could be in the same sort of category. And I'm not going to really touch on the leadership section because it's all kind of generic, except they do miss Oxford commas. So if you're going to use Oxford commas, use them. But if you aren't going to use them, don't use them anywhere. I'm probably the only one who's going to notice that, though, so it's not a big deal. All right, let's do projects. We're almost getting to the end here. Design competition, robot design competition, cool. Design, constructed, and tested the subsystems of the robot to compete in the competition. Okay, generic overview, I guess. But again, you don't tell me any details. I want those juicy details. I want, how you did it. I want what the results of the tests were. You know, did it fail any of the tests, and how did you respond to those failures and make it better? Did you, I don't know, use, I don't know, a lathe or something? I don't know. Or SolidWorks. Oversaw and facilitated the design process. I do not like oversaw and facilitated. In the creation of a robot with emphasis on the chassis, drivetrain, and superstructure. Superstructure is kind of a weird word because I don't really know what that means, but I guess it means like everything else other than the chassis and drivetrain. I don't know. Oversaw and facilitated are weak because they don't tell me what you did. You could literally stand, next to someone as they designed this robot and, list facilitated. Like, I want to know what you physically touched and did. Did you turn a wrench? Did you mock up this robot in SolidWorks, shoot it over to, FEMAP and did some structural analysis? Did you do some calculations to find the ICs of everything? I just really want to know what you did. What did you do? Manufactured and performed project assembly. Performed project assembly is a little weird. I'm going to say assembled robot or something like that. Using a wide range of machining processes. Generic, tell me which. Details. And hand tools. So I have a strong feeling that the machining processes that they use for the robot are listed in this machining processes in the skills section. I don't know. I'd prefer listing one place or the other, but a wide range sounds weird to me, but that's just me. Collaborated with X number of team members, I'm guessing, to solve a wide range of design problems. Again, I want to know what problems you had and how you overcame them while applying engineering fundamentals. Very generic. Tell me what you did, why you did it, how you did it, what the results were. Did you have an issue with, robots going in circles? How did you fix it? Did you have to prototype? Did you have to test? What did you do? Finally, eye tracking camera for automobile drivers. It's a really cool thing. It's a really cool concept. They designed an innovative camera that can track the vehicle driver's eyes to monitor and increase the driver's alertness. Again, they don't tell me how they did it. How did you do it? Did you have to code something? Did you have to analyze the data from, the camera? How did you increase the driver's alertness? Did you, splash water on him when it noticed that he wasn't looking at the road? Give me more details. I think these two projects are a lot stronger, I think, than it gives it credit for. And if they expand on them, I think they could be really helpful. I think a lot of people don't realize how... What was I going to say here? Oh, expand. A lot of people don't realize how, the academic projects can be just as strong as, co-op or internship positions. And then the last bullet is just they wrote an article for it, which is fine and cool that it got published, but I need to know what you did. Don't just tell me you designed something. Tell me how. Tell me why. Tell me, what the results were. Tell me what tools you used. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. But that's kind of the basics of how I do resumes. There's a little bit of red, that's for sure, but that means, there's room for improvement for sure. And giving me more details in the case of this resume, I think will make it much stronger. And I think there are details, that can be added. So it's not like they're lacking for content, which is good. Just got to give me a little bit more. So yeah, if this was helpful, please let me know. If this wasn't helpful, please tell me how to make it better. Obviously, this is the first time I've done this before, so if you have any suggestions, please let me know. But yeah, I hope this helps somebody. Thank you.